everyone. Welcome to the Weird World Podcast. I'm Carrie.
I'm Dean.
And what is this, Dean? A quick cryptid corner?
This is a true quick cryptid corner. You know, you should do these because then they'd be Carrie's quick cryptid corners. Oh, man.
Well,
But you don't give a shit about cryptids. It's
No.
so disappointing. If we ever get divorced, that might be why.
Really?
You're not into
Okay.
cryptozoology as much as I am. That's just, it's troublesome, Carrie. It's troublesome.
is it?
Yes. Okay. So today we're going to bring you something from China.
Oh.
Something that supposedly goes back a very long time, but in the very thin literature that I could find on this, if that's the right way. I mean, it's literally a handful of articles about it on, let's be honest, kind of,
Dodgy websites.
very dodgy websites.
Yeah.
So this comes to us, though, from Hubei province in a town that all the stories call Wunan.
Oh.
Wuhnan. I'm pretty sure it is Wuhan, where COVID-19 originated.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive it is. These articles were written a while ago before COVID-19.
Yeah.
And this happened in part of this story comes from the early 60s and part of this story comes from the late 80s, but written about in the mid 90s. So if these articles are, all these are pre-COVID articles. So I think Wuhan is Wunan. Anyway, Hubei province is a very large province in central China. A lot of it's mountainous and heavily forested. This area where this came from it was in somewhere near Wunan. It was said that all of the local fishermen, there's lots of lakes, right, in the area and bogs and things like that. And a lot of the local fishermen had long been afraid of something that they described as being essentially a massive, absolutely gigantic toad.
Oh.
So this is a story, brief as it is, of the giant toad from Hubei China.
Are you gonna define giant?
You know what? No one ever fully does. I'll tell you some
gosh.
stats, but in terms of like how high it was or how long it was, no one says.
Yeah. Okay.
The start of this, the first story that supposedly relates an encounter with the giant toad of Hubei province is from 1962, where it said that some local fishermen who fished places like the Baofeng Lake, which is a very deep gorge lake apparently, had long been afraid of this creature. It was said to be massive, very white or at least pale skin, and very much like a toad, for sure amphibious. It went on water and land, and that it was said to have a, quote, voracious appetite. So they're afraid of it, and they feared that it might harm their families. So in 1962, some of the fishermen got together, and they said, let's go after this beach. Let's take the war to this creature. And so they got a bunch of dynamite, and they threw a bunch of presumably lit dynamite into this lake, and hoping it would kill the giant toad, or toads, plural, in there. Unfortunately, all it did was make the biggest of the giant toads really angry. That giant toad's name was Chan. Apparently, they named the biggest of the big toads, named it Chan, and Chan then proceeded to come out of the water and chase after these dynamiting fishermen for 90 feet.
Oh.
Why 90 feet?
Yeah.
No idea. But they were along the shoreline there. All of a sudden, this gigantic toad, the biggest of the bunch, comes after them, chases them from 90 feet. I guess at that point gave up.
Yeah.
Because it's not reported that anybody was harmed in this. So that's the story from 1962. The next one supposedly happened in 1987. And this was, again, supposedly reported in the Courier Mail, a newspaper in Brisbane, in Australia, in Queensland.
Okay.
And I tried as much as I could to check, did the Courier Mail ever publish a story on giant toads in China? I can't find any evidence that I don't have access to the Courier Mail. I don't know if it still exists. And, go back in the Courier Mail archives and try to find this article supposedly written in 1995. But, yes, 3 or 4 sources say it, but there's no reason to believe that all of them aren't copying from the first source to say this.
Right.
So I cannot verify that this really was reported in an Australian newspaper or not. I don't know. But the story is that 9 scientists from Beijing University went to this area, this Hubei, to just catalog the wildlife, and they're going to do it both video and audio recordings, and just not anything they're looking for any kind of giant toad, just that they're going to catalog wildlife. And one of the things they're going to do is catalog wildlife of these lakes. So they went to one of these big lakes, and they started setting up video apparatus, a bunch of cables, multiple cameras apparently. And the leader, by the way, was 58-year-old Chen Mok-chun. He led this group of scientists. So there apparently is some kind of details of this. And maybe there was a story about this in this Courier Mail. Now, how, verifiably true it was is anybody's guess. But the story says these 9 scientists went to the shores of the Baofeng Lake, which is deep in the mountains out there in real, wilderness area of central China. And so they're set up. They have the video cameras going to catalog what wildlife is out there. And all of a sudden, they see 3 huge bumps in the water. Mm-hmm. These 3 huge bumps are coming slowly toward the shoreline where all these 9 scientists are hanging out with their videos. By the way, their videos pointed at, and all the stories say they had multiple video cameras going. You'll see why in a minute that's a little bit suspicious, because as these creatures came closer, they seemed to realize that they looked very much like giant toads. Nothing. I mean, it's like they really are just big frogs.
Yeah.
Big toads, not like they're toad-like. They apparently look like toads, but they come all the way up to the edge, and they see that they are very pale, kind of described as grayish-white skin.
Ooh.
Their eyes are huge, bigger than rice bowls. Don't know how big a rice bowl is, but pretty big.
Well,
I mean, yeah, I can imagine what a Jack-in-the-Box teriyaki chicken and rice comes in. Sure,
no.
I know that size of that, but what?
Just like when we go to Mongolian barbecue.
Yeah, okay. So those are big eyes.
So, like, I don't know, 3 inches around.
Oh,
maybe,
more than that, I would think even. Oh, much more than that.
Really?
I think 5-6 inches around. I mean, not was diameter.
Circumference or diameter?
No, not circumference, diameter.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So these are huge. These are huge eyes. The mouth of it was supposedly 6 feet across. So just like this, how frogs have this big toothless maw.
6 feet?
6 feet. So if the mouth is 6 feet and the eyes are at least half a foot, this is a gigantic creature. I again, nothing says how big they are, but this has to be 20, 25 feet. It has to be the size
of a big dog.
A big dog. It'd be much bigger. I feel a bit bigger than that. Maybe not 20 feet. I exaggerated. But it would be much bigger than a big dog. Much
what
bigger.
Was how wide did they say the mouth was?
6 feet.
No, that's crazy. That's not possible.
So maybe I'll go back to my 20-foot estimate. I mean,
yeah.
the mouths are very wide, proportional for toads, but still, this would be a huge creature
of a
person.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big old giant 6-foot mouth, and it not only showed no fear of humans, it apparently one person said that it looked kind of aggressive. His eyes looked kind of like hungry. And so they came up only within apparently just a few feet of the men, and suddenly one of them, the one in the middle, I guess, lashed at his tongues as toads and frogs would do, and it wrapped around a video camera.
Oh.
And it pulled that video camera and tripod back in and apparently ate it.
Wow.
At this time, just as this is happening, the other 2 toads let out this huge kind of I don't know if it's a ribbit, but some kind of a big squeal and a loud noise. They both did. And that was it. They made this shrieking noise, and the third one joined in with the shrieking noise as well, the one that had just ate the camera and the tripod, and then they both slowly backed away into the water and submerged below the waterline. Again, the science team was shook.
Well, I'll bet they were.
One of them said he dropped to his knees and started to, the article I read said he began to shake and puke onto the earth beneath him. Quote, the other men quickly made work of packing up their gear and leaving the area immediately, end quote. So they got the hell out of there. For some reason, 8 years later, an Australian newspaper in Queensland decided to report this story, and that's the last of any word that I can find about the giant toad of Hubei, which sounds like a legendary story from 1962.
Yeah.
And a supposed scientific expedition that was set upon by the 3 of these toads in 1987, but not related, at least in the English press, until 1995.
Yeah.
So And I mentioned that it's kind of weird that they had these. Everything says they had multiple video cameras. Okay,
So where's the other?
where's the videotape of it?
Yeah.
They're taping to catalog wildlife. Why wouldn't there be at least one, if not two or three or four, angles of this occurring?
Yeah.
So, and I mean, that's, yeah. I'm sure you know how I feel about the validity of the story, but it is fascinating. There is, I mean, cane toads in Australia, who were, of course, were exported horrifically to Australia
Right.
and have caused nothing but trouble there. Absolutely giant. Just very, very recently, there was the biggest caught, verified cane toad on record has been written about. And it apparently, this cane toad found, I believe, in Queensland, which is kind of like northeastern Australia. It gets pretty swampy and wet there. Not all of it. It's a huge, huge state. But as you get further north, it gets, that's where you start finding crocodiles and things like that.
Right.
And it was said to weigh about 2.7 kilograms. That is 6 pounds. A 6 pound, they call it Toadzilla. 6 pound cane toad was not long ago found. Now, obviously, that would be a tadpole compared to the Hubei giant toad if it existed. So,
Yeah.
yes or no, Carrie? 25-foot toad. I'm getting. Every time I talk about it, I'm gonna go bigger.
Absolutely no.
No. Oh man, don't you want that to be a 25-foot?
No.
As long as it's in China, I do.
No.
I'm okay with it.
I don't.
Huh? Do you think it maybe caused COVID-19?
No.
Oh, damn it. Do you think it maybe could have been eaten in a wet market and that could have caused COVID-19?
No.
All right. Whatever. If you choose not to believe, Carrie. It's weird that these stories, though, they're so thin. There's really just like they said, there's literally just two stories. Supposedly, and the 1962 incident was like, oh, we're fed up with these scary toads, so we're going to go dynamite them. Well, okay,
Yeah.
where's all the stories from the 30s and the 40s and the 50s and the 60s? And indeed, thousands of years before, because you don't have a population of
Right.
20 plus foot toads, even in central China, that goes unnoticed, except for two incidents in the 60s and,
Right.
and the 80s. So
Yeah.
the interesting part about stories like this is like, where did they come from? Who made this up? Now, I don't know. Is the supposed 1987 story, did that relate to the 1962 thing as sort of background on this expedition and what happened to this expedition? I don't know. Are they two separate stories? I don't know. Did someone just flat out make up this expedition? Or was there really an expedition and who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
Someone had to obviously make it up. There's no 20-foot toad in
Right.
China.
Yeah.
But so someone made this up and got this in the press somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do that.
I don't know. It probably wouldn't be too hard these days.
It would be
but-
very easy these days.
Yeah.
And it happens every day these days.
Yeah.
But back then, a little more difficult.
Yeah.
More power to them. Media hoaxes are so easy now.
Yeah.
Back then, a little more gumption and know-how. Damn it. Everything's so easy these days.
Yeah.
You goddamn Gen Zers. Just kidding. Okay, so that's the story of the giant toad, and that is a quick cryptid corner. It barely qualifies as a cryptid. It's not some. I doubt even diehard cryptozoologists really believe in this thing. It's just
Yeah.
more of an interesting story. I do think there probably are, if not now, there should be some Etsy products that are about giant toads. I swear to God, every kind of cryptozoology is huge on Etsy apparently, because everything
Yeah.
out there has an Etsy version of a plush toy of that cryptozoological creature. I didn't realize how pervasive that is. Like we found out. Remember the Fresno Nightcrawler show? We found one of the biggest reasons that's kind of popular is because it's become very popular on Etsy, people making plush toys. And of course, also in the gay community for some reason no one can understand. Yeah. So that's your story. Anything else, Care Bear?
No.
All right. What? Then we will bring you a full episode in a few days.
Yes.
I believe we are going to start part 1 of 3 of the mysterious death ? Of Charles Bravo. Actually, it's
Yeah.
not a question mark that he died. It's whether he was murdered or
It's going to be
suicide.
super festive, right? In time for Christmas.
Yes. Maybe we'll sneak in. That's going to be a 3-part episode, by the way. It's a lot to unpack with that. Very fascinating story. But we also will maybe sneak in something Christmassy around Christmas time, perhaps.
Do you have a plan?
No.
Oh, me neither.
Okay. We'll think of something. Okay. Until next time, we'll see you.